gosh, look at the crowd.
Come this way.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Welcome to LMDtv. I'm Ashwini Vethakan. Joining us this week on Talking Business is the Chairperson of Sri Lanka Tourism, Kimarli Fernando. Welcome to the show, Kimarli. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kimarli, Sri Lanka was ranked among the top 5 in the world for wellness tourism. Could you give your view on this?
Absolutely. If you look at the past Ayurveda of wellness, and if you Google it, unfortunately, Sri Lanka doesn't come within the top destinations for wellness or Ayurveda. You will see, for example, India, Kerala, you will see Bali, Thailand, and so on. The reason for that is that we never really promoted wellness, Ayurveda. We, in fact, don't even have proper footage currently. So what we did was we reached out to the EU, and EU has funded already a research project in the German market as well, which is about 90 million population. So we've gone ahead with the EU-funded research. They're also helping us with the promotional material as well. The wellness is, it's a broad subject. It is, of course, the traditional wellness, as you know, which is Ayurveda and medicine and yoga and so on, and also the contemporary wellness. So Sri Lanka, we have already begun the process of correcting that in terms of pitching wellness in a broader sense. That is our food, our arts, our culture, our music, if you like, our traditions, our hospitality, our basically our way of life, which we have followed for centuries. So we are thrilled that we were endorsed by the global wellness industry for the top 5 wellness on spiritual and healing for the mind, body, and soul. I believe that we were the only Asian country that was recognized. So we have used that opportunity as well to reach out to influencers, bloggers related to this area, to reach out to the media, the print and social media, to position ourselves, because wellness is a huge market for most countries. And for Sri Lanka, it's really a big strength. Whether it's the Ayurveda or the Hela Vedakama or the contemporary wellness, walking under a waterfall or walking in the forest, things like that. So we have to strengthen basically our product offering going forward. I believe the private sector, we need to work with them to improve our product offering. We have to have the high standards, create the wellness offering altogether. We have to also look at how we get in the food, our food, which is known to build immunity, how we bring in the culture, our nature, the arts, our healing, our way of life, our customs need to be brought in. And I think there's a lot more, frankly, that we can achieve. And yes, pleased to have been awarded this, given this recognition, but there's a lot more to be done, and we started working on it.
Now, Kimarli, could you share some of the initiatives taken by the SLTDA back in 2021 to revive the industry?
When the world was closed due to the COVID pandemic last year and everyone was in lockdown, basically, we started planning in May 2020 already. How do we open our country again for tourism? So in 2020 May, we did a draft guideline. We shared it with the industry. We got their input. We worked with MOH, WHO, and we implemented a guideline in June last year. That included training everybody, certifying everybody, auditing everybody. We appointed KPMG and Ernst & Young. We physically audited. Now, actually, some countries didn't physically audit their hotels. It did self-assessments, but we physically audited, trained every guide, trained every driver, travel agent. So we started the training auditing process very, very early. Then we created this bio bubble concept, actually, and opened the airport in January. Several months later, as you know, the airport was again, we were in lockdown and curfew and so on, and then we opened it again. So we were early to start, I think, and now several countries have copied actually our bio bubble concept, and we're happy for that. It's a recognition that we also appreciate. We have been asked by many countries to provide input. So we are providing input how we did the sort of bio bubble concept. Most of Asia is not fully open. We are open, and that's thanks to the very successful vaccination program the government has implemented. which is over like 62% of Sri Lankans are fully vaccinated. 90% of 20-year-olds and above are vaccinated. And as you know, the tourism industry has been selected also for the booster, which is unique. No other country, I believe, is giving the booster to the healthcare workers and tourism. So there's emphasis that the government has placed on tourism. It's something that we need to be aware, the expectations of the government and citizens of Sri Lanka to deliver. And there's a heavy burden on all of us, which we carry to ensure that the industry starts. First, we did, as I explained, the health protocols, because with COVID, that's the main priority. Then, of course, we did several other things, starting really from last year. Historically, we've promoted Sri Lanka B2B, that is business to business, attending trade shows, which is fine. But we failed somehow for years, many years, 20, 30 years, to really reach out to the all-important consumer, the B2C. So what we have done, and for the last 1.5 years, really, we reached out. We went to the social media, we went to CNN, BBC, we had earned media actually coverage, and Al Jazeera, CNBC, and all these places. We reached out. We did articles, we attended various trade shows also, but we pushed basically reaching out to the consumer. We had, we actually live streamed our wildlife parks, and we had about 9 million followers at that time to keep the dream alive. These are important, I think. These are important. We are actually also going to have, as you may know, the global promotion campaign, which integrated global promotion campaign. It has never been really implemented properly for many years. We often, some of us compare Maldives, but we need to understand that that country positioned their destination for over 20, 30 years. Of course, we had a war also, so we couldn't really do that, but they positioned their country luxury destination. That was their pitch. They consistently, authentically position themselves. They have PR agencies globally, all over the world, positioning. Sri Lanka has currently no PR agency. So these are things. We've identified the problems. We have taken action for the problems. We have got cabinet approval. We got the support of the government to implement these things. So 16 countries we will be implementing either PR agency or a destination representing company will be there in 16 countries. That is key markets for us. We are also going in for a TV campaign, a short time, 1 or 2 months TV campaign in NDTV for the Indian market, all important Indian market, UK market, BBC and Sky News, as well as CNN, just to reach out to the consumer. We have had many bloggers, influencers working with us. As you can see, several CNN, BBC, Lonely Planet, Condé Nast Travels, a lot of them have recognized us, not 2018, 17, and so on, but recently, 2020, 2021. That is because of work we have done to reach out to them, get across our message. I mean, this is important. Eventually, how does a consumer buy something? You need to understand, what do they believe in our destination? Then they search, where do I go? Do I go to Sri Lanka? Do I go somewhere else? Then they start doing the booking. So we need to pitch before they make the booking and to pitch our country. We are also working actually a lot, very coordinated effort with the missions. All our missions have been very supportive. We are working with them. They are arranging things for us. They are arranging stands for us. They are talking to the media. So that has been a really good partnership with our missions overseas. Also, the embassies and ambassadors, UK, Germany, Australia, EU ambassador in Sri Lanka, here in Sri Lanka, work very close with the French ambassador, also, Italian, and all that. They actually support us greatly, tourism, on several situations. One is when there were travelers here stuck last year, to get them back safely. They are helping us with the red list and getting us removed from those. They're helping us. We are trying to do actually a food promotion, where we are trying to get food writers to come to Sri Lanka. And we reached out to the French ambassador, the Italian ambassador, for example, and they're helping us to find food writers to come to Sri Lanka, write about our food. Now, we have never really pitched that. So these are areas that we are working on. We have also working very closely and very successfully with the funding agencies. Many of them have given us free sort of grants, not loans, but grants to support us. EU is one, World Bank, ADB, ILO is helping us, UNDP is helping us, several organizations are helping us. So it's really been a partnership. And of course, the all-important interministerial cooperation, because the railways, there are certain things that we need to improve. We have reached out to them and asked their support to improve the toilet facilities, for example, in the carriages and in the station as well. We have reached out to wildlife to improve the visit experience, to manage the overcrowding and the experience, the toilets and so on. We have reached out to CCF, for example, and said we would like to work with them to make Sigiriya the first sustainable destination. We are working very closely, for example, with ICTA to try to have online ticketing for all line agency tickets so that people can buy their tickets online in one place. We are working with ICTA, for example, on the tourism travel app, which is the first in Sri Lanka, and we believe that it will really set a global standard on that. We've started that process already. So partnerships is important for tourism because there are several stakeholders, and we continuously do every single opportunity. We continuously try to improve basically the experience of the client, the guest, international traveler, from the time he books or makes his visa application right to the point where he's leaving. So a lot of work has been done as Sri Lanka Tourism, proud to say that we've done a complete document. We share it on our social media as well of the work we've done since January 2020 to date. So the public are able to see for the first time the work we have done, the work that we are working on, and what we will be doing for the next few months.
And on that note, we'll be going in for a short break.
You love the feeling of being renewed. To stay beautiful every single day. To breathe just like we do, because you are truly delicate, protecting the ones who've been with us through the years. With Sayalac Care, the only wood coating that truly protects you. Sayalac Wood Coatings from JAT.
Welcome back as we continue our conversation with the Chairperson of Sri Lanka Tourism, Kimarli Fernando. So Kimarli, what is the outlook for the tourism industry in 2022?
It's looking positive, assuming that the COVID is managed in Sri Lanka and that all of us act responsibly to ensure that it doesn't spread. What government has done, we can all be very proud of with the vaccinations, as I mentioned before. So we have a competitive advantage. However, we also need to know that our competitors, right? Our competitors also are pitching for the same client. There are different segments of travelers. There are travelers who are high-end who probably made more money during COVID or have more savings during COVID. Then there are travelers who may have lost their jobs. So there's a limitation in some travelers. There are some travelers who don't want to travel, who are too concerned. So it's a competitive environment. It's not 2018. Again, 2022 will not be 2018. And we need to have a different mindset. So the outlook is good. There are key markets we will work on in terms of UK market, which is still important, critical market for us. We see a lot of traction there. India, of course, amazing flight connectivity, proximity. Germany, France, China, when they open, Australia, all these countries are key markets for us, which we are working on. Post-COVID, the traveler is changed. We have all changed. So what we have to offer Sri Lanka, the nature, the culture, the wellness, no longer do travelers look for products. They look for experiences. And the industry and all of us need to understand that it's no longer 2018. It's going to be 2022. It's going to be a different traveler. A traveler who will look for products which are sustainable. They don't want to leave a footprint. They want to connect with the community, which is fantastic for Sri Lanka. But we need to position ourselves that way. People are looking for tree houses, camping, wellness, nature. So we need to position ourselves that way. People want to have an amazing experience. And with social media, if they have a bad experience, you can be assured it will go viral. So from the time that 2022 will be good, subject to COVID, management of COVID, and our industry looking to pitch our product in the way a post-COVID traveler is looking for. Sri Lanka is blessed. We are all blessed to have an amazingly beautiful country, but that won't be sufficient. to get the traction. And I think that we need to change the focus. And we've seen that actually with the investments as well. The investments in 2020 increased over 2019. And that's partly due to we rationalize the whole process and so on. But also investors are looking for more sort of wellness, Ayurveda, boutique hotels, camping. These are things. So we need to embrace that. And I see a lot of younger generation really embracing that. I'm so really pleased about that they're embracing. And I think that we need to look not sort of price-based marketing, but experience-based, unique products and positioning. Because if we continue to position ourselves price-based and undercutting each other, what happens is then all stakeholders lose out. Whether it's a tour guide or a driver or the hotelier or whoever, the supplier, everyone loses out. And so I sincerely appeal to everybody to work together, to look in a way that this helps all of our citizens, that we build a people-centric economy and look at it in total, that everyone benefits. Because if we don't get a good rate for your hotel, then the hotel staff don't get paid well, then the tour guide doesn't get paid well, then the driver doesn't get paid well, then the supplier doesn't get paid well, and that results in commission taking and all this malpractice that happens, and that is not good for Sri Lanka. So I appeal to everybody to work together, to not always to say high end, but a better yield. A homestay, if you're charging $2, we should try to get it to $5 or $10. If you're charging a 5-star hotel $40 or $60 or $70, try to increase it to $100 or $110. So like that, try to improve the yield without always being sort of focused on number of tourist arrivals. Yes, that's important, but how does it benefit our society? This is something that we need to look at. Overall, I'm absolutely confident. Already we are seeing traction with that. And as you may know, that several airlines have come to Sri Lanka for a new or restarted coming to Sri Lanka. And, airlines don't fly to a country unless they see potential. So I echo their confidence as well, that absolutely confident and looking forward really to a good 2022 and beyond.
How lucrative is the MICE segment for Sri Lanka, and in which ways can the country promote this?
MICE, weddings, business meetings, events, critical market for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka already has made a name for the wedding market, as you know, with our neighboring country who we all enjoy big weddings. So this is an area that we will pitch. In fact, we launched for the first time ever a virtual MICE Expo 2021. So basically what we're doing is we've connected to over 300 event planners in India, for example, and we are requesting anyone to join, but already they've signed in. So the 1st and to the 3rd of December, this is being launched. There, what we're trying to show is what is available in Sri Lanka. So it's the first time ever we are doing that. So we are connecting virtually with people there in those countries and with our stakeholders. So for the first time, a lot of emphasis is being put by Sri Lanka tourism on this segment. We stood up for them even with the health guidelines and try to open their events and so on. So that has now begun. We have already a lot of bookings on weddings, 300 packs, 400 packs already come in. So we are supporting them with the health guidelines and so on. Very, very important, very, very important. So the industry stakeholders needs to reach out and make those connections with Indian partners, whether they are wedding planners or event, because, these events are not like tourism. They make these plans well in advance. It's a year in advance often. So you need to reach out now to get the bookings for next year, which I've reached out to them, in fact, yesterday. And I said, please connect, and that we are there to support you in terms of promoting. So huge market. We have the capacity, the increased capacity also is happening. We have in Hambantota capacity, we have BMICH, we have so many hotels, so we have capacity. There may be requirement, I think, for further capacity going forward. Port City will be an option, of course, that will be some few years down the line. So there are increased capacity may be required. Then you have the supporting retail, and the retail also now is increasing. There are new shopping malls coming in. Entertainment is an issue, and I think there are some areas we need to improve in terms of entertainment. And I think that is something that we need to work together with the private sector as well. How do we improve that? Museums and things to do. This is something that we need, and the nightlife, whether we like it or not, MICE requires nightlife as well. So these are areas that we've identified and that will work with the industry. So yeah, to summarize, I mean, MICE, because that is a place where you really will get the numbers in terms of 200-300 at a time. So yes, critical market for us.
Do you think Sri Lanka should attract travelers from countries that are relatively COVID safe?
COVID, the problem is that today is safe and tomorrow they are not. I think we should look at it this way, that we should look at it how we are safe, how our citizens are safe. And I think the government has done everything possible to ensure that has happened.
Well, this has been an interesting conversation. We sincerely hope the outlook for one of our key forex earning industries will be as bright as it seems. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening, Kimarli, and for your many insights into the tourism industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. Thank you.
Coming up, we have the latest from the LMD-NeilsenIQ Business Confidence Index. Stay tuned. The latest issue of LMD is available at selected supermarkets and bookshops, while the digital version will also be available on our social media platforms and WhatsApp. Welcome back to the show, and here's the latest from the LMD-NeilsenIQ Business Confidence Index. The LMD-NeilsenIQ Business Confidence Index, or BCI survey, paints a slightly more positive picture. The BCI rose by a notable 10 basis points from the previous month to register 119 in December, a 7-month high. This represents a marked improvement compared to where the index stood a year ago at 83, and it places it 10 points above its 12-month average. NeilsenIQ's Director of Consumer Insights, Tarika Meenadenia, offers insights into the latest survey results. Reflecting on 2021, it has been both a difficult and a turbulent year for businesses, the population, and the country as a whole. Sri Lanka has paid a high price, and it's hoped that 2022 will bring new life and energy to a country reeling from the fallout of COVID-19. In the December edition of LMD, we noted that a drastic improvement of sentiment would be unlikely unless the myriad challenges facing the country were addressed. However, as 2021 came to a close, sentiment remained resilient, even in the aftermath of Budget 2022, which has been viewed with some trepidation in biz circles. That being said, given that Sri Lanka's economic challenges are set to continue in the new year, with uncertainty marring the global landscape as well, the direction of the BCIs is likely to hinge on how the government plans to avert a state of economic failure. And that's all the time we have for you this week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.